Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back. We're going to discuss Venus stationing retrograde on March 1st at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time and look at the chart of her station retrograde to get more insights into what this particular journey will focus on and involve. The retrograde starts when Venus is at 10 degrees of Aries, 50 minutes. S is for stationary. And she prepares to move backwards. Now, she is just hanging out here, similar to applying the brakes when you're changing direction in your vehicle. She is applying the stop, hitting it into retrograde or reverse, and we'll be traveling back to 24 degrees of Pisces. So in your chart, you would identify where you have nearly 11 degrees of Aries back to 24 degrees of Pisces. And that's where Venus retrograde is bringing your attention to matters that affect what you create, what you value, what you need, and what you want. Some Venus keywords include attraction, investment, creation, commitment, magnetize, what you draw in to your world based on your self-worth and personal values. And as she stations retrograde, she's conjunct the moon. Here at 9 degrees of Aries, the moon will move ahead, make a conjunction, and align you with a personal need or desire that's up for review, that you're probably feeling and sensing, and the moon is delivering a message here. And I feel that the Venus retrograde is also about asking questions, checking in with yourself. Aries is the self, the first sign of the zodiac where you establish your sense of self-identity. Your personal consciousness begins an evolutionary journey. There's a deep connection here to your body, your physical self, how energy runs through you, how you sense that, especially in terms of blood flow. And Venus is asking you to check in with who you are now. And here comes the moon, your emotional needs, and giving a message to consider that maybe you wouldn't normally feel or sense if the moon wasn't here, making a conjunction to Venus as she stations retrograde. So I feel that the moon is important. Now, another reason why I feel the moon is important in this chart is because Venus is in Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. Here's Mars, now direct and moving slowly. 17 degrees of Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon in Aries, right? So the moon in Aries and Mars in Cancer are in mutual reception, adding in more emotional frequencies here, adding in a more personal understanding of what you really feel and need. And with this energy, it's like sensing what you feel is off. It's not sitting well. It's not aligning. There's a discomfort because this Mars is slowly moving forward, has been at 17 degrees of Cancer for most of February, and is in a wide square to Venus. So Venus is at nearly 11 degrees of Aries, so they are about 6 degrees apart. You know, that is a square. It's a separating square since Venus is going to move backwards and Mars is going to move forwards. But there's a message here as she stations retrograde about what you don't like, what you don't want. It's not sitting well. It doesn't feel good. Maybe you're picking it up emotionally. There can be a sense of being agitated or annoyed, repressing or holding in what you're really feeling and sensing. trying to figure it out on your own terms, and just wondering, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? And Venus is in the mix here, feeling and sensing all of this, and it's bringing up some questions for her to be aware of and to ponder. Now, she also is in a nice sextile to Jupiter in Gemini, now direct as well. And Jupiter is trying to put together the pieces here in Gemini of the bigger picture and how to work with it, understand it, perhaps even mentally organize it so that you can see it for what it is. This is where, what am I learning here? What am I gaining? What's the wisdom I'm meant to obtain and understand? And so this Venus is in a stronger connection to Jupiter in Gemini, giving her more insights here. But if it feels off and you just, it's like the energy can feel stuck in an emotional constraint. And then, of course, we have the stellium of energies in Pisces, which are also where our subconscious and unconscious are processing, releasing, letting go. Now, this Venus, she's going to re-enter Pisces on March 27th. She re-enters Pisces, and she's going to have a conjunction to this Neptune, which will be at 29 degrees of Pisces, and she's also going to be conjunct the North Node in Pisces. And she's going to understand what she's really done and complete with, what to surrender and let go of. And I feel that these bigger Pisces waves of Neptune in Pisces and the North Node in Pisces can be a cleansing of energy, almost like standing in the ocean and a wave comes through and just washes it clean, washes the energy, the mind, the issues, the troubles, the worries, washes something off of her, a cleansing. I wanted to say baptism of sorts, like just to feel that she's being deeply renewed at a higher spiritual level of her being. She's also going to be retrograde and have a Venus star point on March 22nd at 2 degrees of Aries, where she is in an inferior conjunction to the Sun, which is a new Venus point that is also sextiling this Pluto, which will actually be at 3 degrees of Aquarius then. There's a big transformation occurring, and I do feel that this particular Venus retrograde is really significant, and it's unfolding with numerous interactions to outer planets, to the North Node, Neptune, the Sun. She will also have a conjunction with this Mercury. In April, she'll be conjunct Saturn. Venus is on a significant journey that's changing her self-love, showing her what she wants to improve in herself, which is Aries. How can I be better at something? How can I improve? How can I also be truer to myself in a very pure way? And so during this retrograde, again, between 11 degrees to 24 degrees, 11 degrees of Aries to 24 degrees of Pisces in your chart, you are refining, reevaluating, recreating. There's a reset. And keep in mind that Venus retrograde can support receiving and relaxing. Don't force it. Don't get out there trying to make things happen, which is what the Aries energy can do. Full steam ahead. 0 to 100, let's go. And this is like, no, it's more like 100 to 0. Slow it down, internalize, and become aware of what you're beginning in this cycle that actually won't be evident until May. Now, why May? Venus is going to retrograde back to, as I said, 24 degrees of Pisces until April 12th or 13th. She stations direct and she moves forward. And then she has a beautiful spiritual awakening and a whole new sense of herself as she will make a conjunction to Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, May 2nd, May 3rd. And there's a big refresh that doesn't happen until then. So understand that part of this retrograde is allowing things to unfold, allowing the pieces to reveal themselves, to be more accepting, allowing, receptive, Venus retrograde word. Refine, release, and allow this journey to unfold, because there's so many pieces involved here with the conjunctions and then the sextile to Pluto that you're not going to even have the answers. In fact, if you were to try to hit the Aries go button and rush forward, it's only going to create a mess or chaos, perhaps accidents, perhaps create more that you have to go back and clean up. So the retraction is the gift. Retraction so that she can regenerate. And as she makes sextiles to Pluto, this is empowering transformation. This is, again, regenerating her into a new sense of self that will start to be fully actualized after she has that conjunction to Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries in early May. So 2 months, I feel, is how this Venus retrograde is going to play out. It's going to be a 2-month journey of her reprogramming, resetting, regenerating, reviewing, releasing, recreating. And honestly, she could be impatient when she's in Aries. So she's in Aries until March 27th. Stations direct, April 12th and 13th. And then in April is when she'll have a conjunction to this Saturn. Conjunct Saturn and then sextiling Uranus late April. Re-enters Aries early May. So there aren't going to be known answers because there's a lot shuffling. And I feel too like it's happening behind the curtains. It's happening energetically. And as she moves back into Pisces, she gets that sense and that glimpse of what is shifting around within her as a reflection of what's changing in the universal frequencies. It's like she's now behind the curtain too. She goes behind the curtain into Pisces to be in those depths and those realms of what can transpire next. And then when she re-enters Aries, again, conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, and we know that's a huge deal. She's being reformed, reawakened to a part of herself. There's a new beginning on her spiritual path that happens early May. So use the station retrograde to be very self-aware of what you want to change. of how to move this emotional energy through, of how to understand that you are in charge of everything around your energy, actions, choices, words, behaviors, everything. And so what do you need to take responsibility of here? Because she's going to be shifting and changing it in order to be more self-loving, self-confident, self-accepting, and to then offer that frequency out after this retrograde. I'll have a podcast for you going through these dates even more. That podcast will be on March 3rd. It'll be here on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Apple, and wherever you listen to podcasts. But we'll go through the dates more specifically. I just want to show you that there's something coming to your attention. The moon is delivering a message. The moon, in mutual reception with Mars in Cancer, is delivering an emotional message around what Venus can work through, recreate, so that as her journey unfolds and the renewal happens, she's going to have new levels of magnetism, new desires, a new sense of self, a new sense of who she is and what she wants in the new cycle. And so her journey back into Pisces is also ensuring that you're not repeating patterns, habits, parts of yourself that you've actually outgrown. You've moved away from, it's no longer in alignment, it's no longer true for you. The universe is supporting you in a reset related to matters of the heart, financial matters, what you create and what you love about yourself. So a big makeover here is underway. At a more practical level, people have a change of heart, change of direction. They say, no, I don't want that anymore. I'm realizing I don't need that anymore. That isn't who I am. That isn't true for me. So we'll keep talking about this Venus retrograde, one of the biggest Venus retrogrades we've had in a very long time. But I hope this gives you a good heads up into what our cosmic assignment is and how to also understand the unfolding of the energies into May. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share this video with anyone else who would benefit from it. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscribes. It's a joy to connect with you through this wonderful world of astrology. And I'll be back with another video soon.